Guys, AI is huge. If you're not using it for your real estate investing, you need to start ASAP. In this video, I'm going to break down 3 main ways and give you resources that you can start implementing AI into your real estate investing business today. Let's go. With all the talk of AI, it seems as though we're living in the I, Robot movie. You guys remember that movie from Will Smith where robots take over the world? Okay, maybe we're not that far along in technology yet, but it seems like we're getting pretty darn close. AI, or artificial intelligence, is talked about non-stop, and it has been really for the last 2 years. And to be honest with you guys, I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. Instead, I think it's only going to pick up. And I think artificial intelligence is only going to continue to get better as time goes on. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence makes it possible for machines to learn from experience, adjust to new inputs, and perform human-like task. That's pretty crazy that they have the technology now, that we have machines or softwares or whatever you want to call it that can literally learn like humans can. It can predict what the best outcome is going to be or what decision you should make based on previous experiences that it is having and from data that it's collected over time. It's quite an amazing feat, and if used correctly, it can be an extremely powerful tool. Now, there's fear that AI is going to take over all of humans and all of the jobs, and I don't see that happening. Could it become dangerous if not controlled? 100%. If you ever listen to Elon Musk, he is on a AI security board that is governed by government officials all across the board, where essentially their sole goal is to not let AI get out of control, but to instead make sure it's used for good. Now, I'm sure some of the bad's going to sneak through because it always does here in the world, but it's interesting that somebody as smart as Elon Musk feels that AI has that much power that they need an actual governing board to make sure that it doesn't get out of control. So if that doesn't show you what AI is capable of, I don't know what will, because when Elon Musk is involved and he's kind of fearful, it scares me a little bit. But if it's used for the right things, like real estate investing, it can do nothing but help us. Do I think AI is at the point where we can totally rely on AI for all of our decisions without having to give our input or manually think through things? No, we're not there, and especially in the real estate investing space. And I'll break down for you different tools that we use and talk about why they can't 100% be trusted yet. They can be used today as a fantastic resource to make your life a lot easier and expedite the process of specifically finding and analyzing properties. So that takes me to point number 1. Let's talk about how we can use artificial intelligence to help us do correct property analysis and hopefully do them a lot faster than what we were doing in the past. So traditionally, property valuations could be a time-consuming task. I think it is an important task because if we are valuing properties that we're looking to buy at the wrong price or at the wrong estimated monthly rents, then we're going to end up screwing ourselves and buying bad deals. So we don't want to do that. But are there tools available that can help us expedite the process of valuing a property? I think so, and I think it lies within the AI space. Let's talk about one of the most famous ones first, Zillow's Zestimate. So what is Zestimate? Zestimate is where you can get on Zillow and Zillow will tell you what they think your house is worth. They gather information such as specifics of home improvements, developments in the housing market, prices of homes in your neighborhood, and the physical location of where the home is sitting. And then they put all that together to try and come up with a good evaluation of what they think that particular home is worth. Now, I'll be the first to tell you those estimates are not 100% accurate. If you go back to what I said a few minutes ago, AI is not at the point where we can trust it wholly, but here's what it can do. Instead of you having to start from scratch and go through completely manually to even get a baseline, what artificial intelligence like Zestimate can do when it comes to finding out what a property is worth or what a property is going to be worth once it is fixed up is going to expedite the process. You're going to be able to have an understanding of, okay, this may not be exact, correct, right? If I look at a Zestimate and it says a home's worth $250,000, you're going to know that, okay, it may not be exactly worth $250,000, but that gives me a good starting point. I understand that homes in this area in this condition that are this size with this many beds and bath are going to be somewhere in this ballpark. Could it deviate 20,000 on the low end, 20,000 on the high end, potentially more depending on the price of the home? 100%. But at least gives you that baseline to say, okay, I can work with that. Let me dig in and narrow this down and get a little more exact. If you don't like Zestimate, there's an app that I use called Backflip Capital. So it's the Backflip app. They're actually one of my hard money lenders who lends me for deals to do BRRRR deals and fix and flips. But they also have an analyzing tool that uses artificial intelligence. You plug in the address of the property that you're looking to buy. It spits out what it thinks it's worth. And so these are all over the place and are going to give you that good baseline for being able to understand what the value of a home is. Then you have artificial intelligence like Augurisk Now. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Augurisk Now. And so what Augurisk Now does is it was launched at the tail end of 2020, and it uses AI to help evaluate the level of safety in your neighborhood. I think this is very interesting, especially for a lot of out-of-state investors who may be buying in locations that they're not super familiar with. You can use a resource like Augurisk, type it in, and see what is the safety level of this particular area that I am looking to purchase a home in. So we've used Zillow's estimate or Backflip Capital's app to analyze. We used Augurisk Now to see how safe a neighborhood is. Now we want to look and say, okay, what are homes going to rent for in this particular neighborhood? Back in the day, this was a very manual task. You'd have to reach out to other landlords or call property managers to get an idea of what homes are going to rent for in the area. Today, we have artificial intelligence that exists that allows us to find this information pretty darn quickly. And I will say the app that I use, Rentometer or Rentometer, however you pronounce it, is a fantastic app, and it is spot on most of the time. So when I've used Zestimates or other property analyzers to find out what the price of homes are, they have a little more variance, but Rentometer is pretty darn spot on with telling you what your property is going to be able to rent for monthly. If you talk to property managers across the United States and ask them how do they come up with their market rent rates, 99% of them are going to tell you that they trust Rentometer to make those decisions. It's something that I use personally, and it is a great example of how AI has made it very accessible for the average investor to be able to buy a property feeling confident with what it's going to rent for once they actually close on it. The second way AI can help us is giving us recommendations. I want you to think about Netflix or YouTube. How do they know just what video or show to show you next? You ever realize that after you get done watching one video or one show, they're recommending you something that piques your interest? It's because they're able to look at past data and know that because you chose blank show or blank video, you are going to enjoy this one that they are putting in front of your face. It is quite powerful. And we are headed that way in the real estate space as well. So I'm looking at an article from RentReady, and it's saying AI algorithms can analyze market trends and historical data to identify profitable investment opportunities and recommend strategies that align with an investor's goals and risk tolerance. It's like having a personal investment advisor that's available 24/7. That's insane. You can literally tell AI what type of properties that you like buying or show them what type of properties you like buying by inputting your existing portfolio. And then they are going to make recommendations of properties that you should buy. And they're going to do that for you because they know what your risk tolerance is. They know what your sweet spot is, the type of property you like to buy, the bed, bath, the location, all of it. And so where we're having to go out and hunt for these properties today, AI is going to be bringing them to us in the future based off what we like to buy. It is insane. And it's already happening with some programs. So we can look at Roofstock, okay? Roofstock compiles recommendations for investors based on an analysis of property data performed by machine learning algorithms. So this platform recommends high yield real estate investment prospects based on a number of characteristics, including location, price, and cash flow. It already exists right there with Roofstock. Or we have Skyline AI, which uses deep learning and natural language processing to evaluate data and provide individualized suggestions for commercial real estate investors. Crazy, right? I think it's important too, if we're going to use AI, that they be able to give us recommendation based on market trends and economic statistics, and us have a more real-time look of where certain areas and neighborhoods are from an economic standpoint and where they're headed. This is all stuff that had to be manually put together in the past. You'd have to go in person to your city or county buildings to get this information, or get online and search what's going on in a particular area. Today, they have apps like GeoFi, which is a commercial real estate valuation prop tech that employs AI to deliver real-time market insights. And it's going to allow investors to make informed investment decisions based on current market conditions. They're going to help you prioritize where to play by evaluating these neighborhoods and markets and submarkets for you based off of your criteria. The third and final benefit of AI that I want to talk about in this video is mitigating or reducing risk. I want you guys to think back to 2020 when the pandemic hit, or you can think all the way back to 08, 09 when we had the recession. How do we mitigate the risk during those storms? Because storms are going to come. And I always say those who build on a very weak foundation, their portfolio, their little kingdom, their little empire is going to get blown over. But the ones who decide to build on a strong foundation are going to be able to withstand the storms and continue pressing forward after they're done. So what are some things AI is going to be able to do to help us when it comes to mitigating risk? Well, number one, AI is going to be able to identify potential risk and challenges associated with a particular property. I want you to think of things like environmental issues or legal complications, things that can't be seen from the outside, that can only be found by doing a lot of due diligence. AI is going to be able to bring that to the forefront for us so that we're not wasting all this time on a particular property or particular area later, only to find out there are a ton of hidden problems that we don't want to deal with. And then I think it's going to go as far as customized risk management. What is each individual investor okay with? Some of us have a greater risk tolerance than others, or we're just in other stages of life. So there may be an investor who's in growth stage. I'm wanting to grow my portfolio. Great. But then there may be another investor who's a little more seasoned, they've been in the game longer, who they're just trying to preserve their wealth. We want less risky investments. We don't want to expose ourselves as much. Well, artificial intelligence is going to be able to lead us to those types of properties and assets that are going to be able to help us accomplish those goals no matter what we're trying to do. I did some digging, and there's already some pretty cool AI tools out to help mitigate risk for real estate investors. Number one is Gridix. And Gridix is a web-based service that uses AI to analyze risk and give residential and commercial premises zoning data. Look, this is huge because you're going to be able to see what properties are currently zoned at, but then also what is the city or town's plans for the future when it comes to zoning. Some of the best real estate investors I know really spend a lot of time looking at zoning and city plans, because if they know what's coming to a particular area before the general public does, they can go capitalize by buying in that particular market. Traditionally, that's been a very manual process, but now we have this data accessible through AI technologies like Gridix. So guys, I laid it out for you. AI is going to change the game. It already is in the real estate space, but it's only going to continue to progress when it comes to analyzing deals, when it comes to making recommendations for investors for deals they should buy, and then third, mitigating risk. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. How do you think AI is going to transform real estate? What did I leave out? What would you add? And where do you think the power of AI is going as it relates to the real estate investor? If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. It will let you know when I release new videos. Like this video so other people will see it. And if you haven't seen either of these two videos, you should check them out. We work hard on them to provide value for you, and I think you'll like them. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.